Welcome to Cash Flow Predictability for 2026, a roundtable panel brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before I introduce our expert panelists and our partner sponsor, let me share some brief housekeeping items. First, we'll have Q&A at the end of the presentation, so please use your GoToWebinar panel to ask our experts questions. Second, this webinar is CPE eligible with 4 polling questions, so please answer each poll for CPE or to benchmark your peers. Please allow up to 1 week for CPE certificates to be emailed to you. And finally, regarding CPE, you'll receive a brief survey directly after the webcast today, so please complete it. And finally, you'll receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes or screenshots. So now a word from our partner and sponsor, Billtrust, a B2B order-to-cash software and digital payments market leader. Billtrust helps the world's leading brands move finance forward with AI-powered solutions to transition from expensive paper invoicing and check acceptance to efficient electronic billing and payments. With more than 1 trillion invoice dollars processed, Billtrust delivers business value through deep industry expertise and a culture relentlessly focused on delivering meaningful customer outcomes. And now I'm very pleased to introduce our subject matter experts and panelists, Christine Gu, Michael Mance, and Lee An Schommer. Christine Gu is SVP Finance and Chief Accounting Officer at Clarify Health Solutions. She's an active CPA with more than 20 years of finance and accounting experience. Prior roles included VP of Finance, Chief Accounting Officer, Corporate Controller, and a public accounting career at KPMG. Christine's experience includes both private and public companies, from startups to public, along with multiple IPOs and SPACs. She earned a BS accounting from San Francisco State University and was Controllers Council 2022 National Controller of the Year. Mike Mance is VP Financial Operations at Dialysis Care Center, a multi-region healthcare provider where Mike runs the F&A team and reports to the CEO. Prior roles included VP of Financial Reporting at BMO and Assistant Controller at Aon, the Global Financial Services Corp. And along with F&A Consulting and Public Accounting, Mike earned a BS Accounting from Illinois State University and is a licensed CPA in Illinois. Lee An Schommer is Chief Product Officer at Billtrust with over 20 years of experience driving enterprise software innovation and growth, championing AI adoption and delivering successful SaaS transformations with measurable ROI. Prior roles included Chief Product Officer at Insight Software and 5 years leading product teams at Epicor. Welcome, Christine, Mike, and Lee An. So before we get started on our panel, Lee An's going to share a quick overview of Billtrust. Lee An, take it away.
Thanks, Neil. For those of you that are not familiar with Billtrust, as the slide indicates, we are all about automating the order-to-cash process. So from the first moment in which you decide to give credit to a purchasing activity happening and you need to create an invoice, to take a payment, to then applying that remittance or that cash application, and then of course, depending on whether or not the cash comes in, taking and running a collections process, we have AI capabilities across our entire accounts receivable platform at Billtrust. And excited to be with all of you today.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And so let's now get to our first panel question. And panelists, if you want to come on to video, that would be great. Please tell us about your company, your finance and accounting organization, and your AR department and/or functions. So, Christine, let's start with you. Can you give us some of your background and talk about Clarify Health? check your mute, Christine.
All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here. And first of all, I want to thank Controllers Council for hosting this event. And then a big shout out to Billtrust for sponsoring today's discussion. It's exciting to be part of this conversation, and because it's highlighting the importance of AR automation. So as far as Clarify Health, it's a healthcare analytic company that use data and AI to help payer, provider, and life science companies make better decisions, whether that's optimizing care delivery or improving access or reducing costs for the companies. So from a finance and accounting perspective, we run a very lean organization, but highly strategic. Our core F&A team covers FP&A, accounting, AR, AP, tax, and compliance. We leverage also offshore resources to help scale execution while keeping headcount efficient. On the AR side, we partner closely with our customer success team, legal team, to align invoicing, collections, and contract terms from time to time. And we will also embed AR tracking mechanism into our quarter revenue operation process. So we're not just reactive, kind of organization, but actively managing cash conversion cycles.
Great, thanks, Christina. Mike, how about you and Dialysis Care Center?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks, Neil, for having me back in the sponsorship here with Billtrust. Dialysis Care Center is a national medium-sized healthcare company. I've been in business for about a dozen years. We are in about 8 states and have about 50-some locations, providing dialysis care to our patients. We have about 1,000 employees total, and we are headquartered here in the Chicagoland area. On my team, I have collectively about 50 total individuals throughout various responsibilities in accounting, finance, FP&A, tax, as well as revenue cycle in the AR department, which consists of about a half dozen individuals on that, where they're doing billing as well as collections and so forth. So great company to work for, and I've been here for approximately 6 years.
Great, well, thank you for that, Mike. And Lee An, do you want to share a little bit about how Billtrust's finance and accounting is structured?
Sure, pretty classic. The CFO has 3 main groups. If we set aside the general counsel, policy, and compliance into a separate group, I would say that it's FP&A and classic corporate finance under one FP&A leader, taking care of planning, forecasting, budget requirements, any KPIs that require tracking based on business goals. And then a lot of heavy lifting over in the controller and accounting space. So everything I think that Christine and Mike kind of mentioned in terms of their org, very similar structure at Billtrust. And we use our own tools to help automate.
Well, I'm glad you do that. That's surprising. Okay, so let's move on to our first poll question. Pardon me. So I'm going to launch that. And we start out really easy. Effective cash flow management is a top priority. Select one of the following. Again, your answers are anonymous and confidential. Please take a few seconds. They're going to get harder, so start out easy. So all these smart people in the audience are really fast at voting. So, and voting is, of ground to a halt. So I'm going to share the results, and not surprisingly, 56% agree, 42% strongly agree. So 98%, only 3% don't know. Wait, that doesn't add up. So whatever, all good. Let's, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about that one, but because it does lead in to our first panel question. Is cash flow management a top priority for your company? And how do you effectively manage cash flows? So, okay, Mike, let's start with you.
Okay, great. Great question. Yes, it is a top priority. Our company, you know, I work closely with our corporate controller and treasury team, as well as our billing team and collections. You know, it's a very important process. First of all, you know, to ensure that billing is accurately done on the initial onset, and then utilizing automation for that process. In KPIs, you know, we look at DSOs as well as payment terms from on our AP side to ensure that we're paying our vendors on a timely basis, but ensuring that we're getting good terms there. And then also taking advantage of any rebates from a vendor perspective.
Awesome, thank you for that. And Christine, Clarify Health, cash flow priorities and processes?
Yeah, I can't agree more. Absolutely, it's our top priority, especially in the current macro environment where access to capital is a little bit more constrained compared to before, and also companies are laser focused on burn rates and runway. And for us, we take a rolling cash forecasting approach, looking out 13 weeks on a weekly basis, and then tying that to pipeline velocity or bookings conversion and any billing schedules. It's not just an accounting or treasury function. It's a collaborative effort across FP&A, sales, and rep ops for us. It's a team sport. And in terms of cash visibility, it really helps us make better decisions around hiring, vendor spend, and investment timing, etc. We also scenario plan around contingencies, such as collection delays or ramp-up costs, or any M&A related outflows. So this sort of weekly discipline helps the executive team stay agile and data informed.
Great, well, great way to summarize that. Lee An, can you at least briefly now tell, I know we're going to talk about Billtrust a lot, but how does Billtrust help controllers and chief accounting officers and CFOs manage cash flow?
Yeah, I'll hit a couple highlights. Number one is just to go digital as much as possible, which sounds like an obvious step, but I saw a study the other day that said 60% of accounts receivable for the most part is still manual. So people are still dealing with paper and Excel spreadsheets. So Billtrust can help you automate as much as possible. So translating that into digital, also offering multiple payment options or modalities, so that if you have a buyer that is wanting cards, virtual cards, proprietary or ACH, or a mixture of both based on their business, meet them where they want to live, and we can help you with that process. So you figure what kind of payment options you'd like to offer your end customer, and we can help you with that. And then making sure you have real-time visibility. Christine kind of hit on this, where you need to look at that liquidity, where are you at with the revolver, and then basically to always have analytics that tells you where things are with your business. And you shouldn't have to ask it. Your vendor, like Billtrust, should tell you and provide that insights when you log in. giving you that information and actually pointing you to opportunities to improve your cash flow. So again, giving you the tools to automate as much as possible, maybe helping you stack rank which customers you should that always pay you and pay you well and are low risk versus where you might want to focus your collections activities. So whether it's optimizing your payment options or optimizing your collections procedures, anything in that whole quote order to cash process, Billtrust can help you a partner.
Well, thank you. And may I just say, as a non-accountant, but a CEO of a small company, cash is king. That's all I'm going to say here. So let's move on to our next